The following is a production of the University of Minnesota.
We're going to talk about some alternative grasses you can use today in settings that are not traditionally mowed areas. These might be out of the way or out of play areas on a golf course. They might be in a park where you don't have the resources to mow regularly. They might be in a public landscape where you want to show people what alternatives are that they have to traditional lawns. There are a number of settings where we want to use grasses with low maintenance conditions. So I'm going to talk about two kinds of grass that you can use under low maintenance circumstances. The fine fescues is one group, and then the other group is going to be some of our native prairie warm season grasses. So here at the Arboretum, we have a trial on low maintenance turf grasses or alternative grasses. This is a planting that was done 4 years ago. And what we have right in front of me are some of the fine fescues. And this is a mixture of several fine fescues in different amounts. These are some creeping fescue, some creeping fescue is a rhizomatous grass, some of the bunch fine fescues. So it's a combination of these fine fescue grasses that we think about for shady conditions, but these fine fescues have great potential for low maintenance circumstances. What we see with them is a very fine texture. They have almost a wiry appearance to the leaves, and sometimes they grow in bunches, other times with rhizomes. But fine fescues are slow growing. So they have a low height, and in the trials that we have here, we have a section where we have mowed 3 or 4 times over the summer, and another section in front of me that has not been mowed at all. So you can see there's some seed heads coming up here, but they're very low growing for most of the foliage. These trials also have received no water now for several years. They were watered initially for establishment, but now no water conditions. So what we found is the fine fescues did pretty well. Once they got established, they can be maintained at very little mowing conditions, very low fertility conditions, and for areas where you don't need a high quality turf, you really should consider the fine fescues and a mixture of several different types of fescue. The other plants that we evaluated here were native prairie grasses. And we've got 2 different plantings of the native prairie grasses here. This foreground here has been mowed, again, 3 or 4 times in the summer, so maybe once a month mowing. This area has not been mowed at all. And mostly what you see here is this red fall color with little blue stem. So little blue stem was about 40% of this mix. There's some side oats grama, some blue grama in here also. And this can look very attractive to some people. Of course, this has not been mowed at all. This wouldn't be something you'd have for maybe a traditional lawn, but it could be suitable for an out-of-the-way area, unplayed area, or if you want to look at some shorter native grasses, a mixture that has quite a bit of little blue stem in, this is what it would look like. We also had another mix of native grasses without little blue stem. This is buffalo grass, side oats grama, and blue grama, and a little bit of prairie jute grass, which is a cool season grass. So here again, you see the height is not very tall. We've got seed heads that are up at about 2 feet, but most of the foliage here is short. Again, this is not the bright green color we expect or think of seeing in home lawn conditions. This is a browner color, but none of these plots have been watered. In the summertime, they haven't been watered this is the 3rd year with no water at all. So what we see here is what would result in a native grass mix under low maintenance conditions. So no pesticide use, no water use after 2009 when they were originally established. So there's definitely some alternatives to what you can do for grasses that are in a lower maintenance area. You want to put in lower maintenance, and you want to have an area where it's not traditionally mowed with high inputs. Native grasses like this that are warm season grasses is one alternative and one way to go, and the fine fescues is another way to go. You can get these seed mixes. We have the details on the website that you can find, and you can usually have these custom made for you at different seed houses. If you know what you want, they can mix them directly to the proportions that you're looking for. That's definitely true of the fine fescues, and then the native grasses, maybe different suppliers there, but again, you can have these custom made for you, and the ones that we have here in this very dry site, these are ones for very dry upland conditions. So I hope this gives you an idea of what you can do for alternatives to traditional lawns.